What's going to be your strategy for the next 3 years is my question.
So we start out in multifamily, so we're going to keep buying existing multifamily properties. But the goal was always to be a more well-rounded real estate investment company. And so what we did 2.5 years ago, we started buying triple net, double net properties underneath funds. Gene's helped out with those syndications that we've done 2 of those now. And then we, 2 years ago, we got into ground up construction, development arm. And then we do some hard money lending too. So those are the 4 things, and that's the final 4 things we're going to do. And the reason why we went to those 4 is because it spreads out the risk and reward ratio, and it meets our investors' desires for something other than multifamily.
Sure, those triple net deals that you're buying, Dollar General and Family, whatever, they provide cash flow.
Right. Yeah.
Steady cash flow. Perfect.
Yeah. So that's really the goal there on those, and it's by 2029 the goal is to have $1 billion of dollars of assets under management. So really that's the big scary goal in 2029. So 3 years, I think we've got to be about 350 or 400 million to get there. So.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's interesting. One of the things that took me out of the business was my uncomfort of realizing how many dollars of investor money I was managing. Right. When I made the decision to wind down, we had 850 investors, and you've heard me say I sent out about 1,400 K1s one year, and there was no back office companies helping. There was no IMS. There was no one. It was all, you do it all yourself.
Right.
If that had been today, maybe I'd still be in the business, because I know you use a back office type of company to help, and that's good. So you start, I know I had a dry cleaner who had $3 million invested with me, and I thought, Jesus, I'm building storage facilities. What if the last mattress that ever needs to be stored in a storage facility was just stored somewhere else? What am I going to do with that guy's $3 million? So not everyone can be a syndicator, Kenny.
Sure.
It takes a certain mindset, and I will tell you over and over and over, I think it's a people business more than real estate business.
Absolutely, yeah.
You have to have a good deals, there's no doubt about that. You have to have a good team, but you get 20 or 30 investors in a deal, and the chances of one person having some disaster in their life during your 7-10 year holding period is very real. And then you have their money, Kenny. They come to you. How are you going to solve that? So that's something to do. That's great. Do you see any change in your strategy at Lifestyles in preparing the passives and the leads in the next 2 or 3 years?
Well, it's already happened, Gene. It happened about 5-10 years ago. I brought on Lynn Murrow as executive vice president, and Lynn came from corporate world, and she was much better at running the company than I was. I'm the type of guy that's I'm a big thinker, I'm a leader, I'm a way out front, let's come up with something, make it happen kind of guy. Lynn's a get it done person, and get it done legally, the right way, in massive detail. She hired some of the best people in the country. She came to me and said, do you want this guy or that guy? I said, I want both. So that was our marketing team. I got the best national marketing guy and the best internal marketing girl. And she said, what do we want for education? I said, I want the best educational software you can buy. It cost me $1 million to set up the educational program. We hired a doctorate of education to put the program together. Then we hired another girl who is she is a professional educational writer. In other words, she writes science books. Do you understand? So she writes the programs. It's just, our program is so advanced for passives right now, Gene, that you come out of our training program as a passive, you probably know more than most of the syndicators that you've got out there on the street that are just doing it, trying to do it.
Well, with your passives and their education, we've done away with worrying about who's sophisticated, who isn't. Every one of your passives who can invest is a sophisticated investor. So the only issue I ever see at Lifestyles, I really don't want to go into it here because it would take too long, is the issue of pre-existing and substantive relationship. As you said, they're floating everywhere. The passives are, and it's just up to the leads to control themselves and make sure they
they take in the right people at the right time.
Right now, what is your syndication strategy, and how do you think it's going to change, if at all, in the next 3 years?
Well, my syndication strategy is, and first of all, the big picture, it's not going to change much because I've been doing this for 18 years. And so my investing strategy with apartments is to invest in landlord and business friendly environments. And I'm going to continue to do that. And I buy for myself. I like to buy 100 units and up, and I'm going to continue to do that. And I'd like to syndicate at least 3 deals a year. And most of these deals are going to be, I'm going to have a co-partner, like a co-pilot or a co-manager. And I like to partner with people that are going to be a little bit more hands-on, that are going to focus more on the asset management side of the piece. And so that's my recipe. I've partnered with some of the people you've interviewed. Some of them had started in my program, my mentoring program. And so, for example, I recently syndicated a 203 unit deal with one of my students who has the passion and the desire and the skill set to be a little bit more hands-on. And we did a 203 unit deal in the Tampa Bay area. And so we closed on that in February, and I'm looking to syndicate another deal this year. And I'll probably do 2 or 3 a year. So that's part of my syndication strategy. And I still invest passively, if I could say that too. I can't syndicate every deal. And so I find deals that other accomplished syndicators are doing. And I like to put money in those deals, especially to diversify and be in different markets. And then I also like to still try to buy some deals with my own money so I can get all the appreciation myself. But the syndication piece is the main piece where you're getting leveraged income, because you're putting in a little bit of money to buy a much larger property, and then you're taking a split however you decide to do it. And I know, Gene, you teach different ways of sponsor compensation and profit splitting, but however you slice and dice it as the sponsor, I'm putting in, the concept is simple. I'm putting in a little bit of money and I'm getting a disproportionate share of the profit. And so that is why syndication will always be part of my strategy. And plus you could control more units. And then, finally, again, part of my mission is to uplift communities. And if I just bought my deals with my own money, I can only buy so many units. But if I syndicate, I could buy more units. And so not only am I helping myself, but I'm helping my investors, and I'm uplifting all these working class families. So that's why syndication has been and will continue to be part of my strategy.
What's your overall strategy?
Well, I'm currently a code managing member in 41 properties, 12 senior housing deals, and 8 commercial properties, and that's with my other partner, Kevin. And then Mike and I are partners together in 21 multifamily properties. So we have just a little under 6,000 apartments that we're the co-managing members of. And I decided 5 years ago to go all in on the multifamily sector. And I say that because I've been in significant number of retail properties. I'm in office buildings, industrial parks, flex, manufacturing, refrigerated storage, freezer storage, senior housing currently, meaning independent living, assisted living, memory care. So, I try to be humble and say, hey, look, I don't know everything, but I've really been an owner in a lot of different types of properties. And so 5 years ago, Mike and I had about 800 apartment units in Tyler, Texas. And I kind of took a deep breath, said, where do I want to spend the last 15 years of my career? And I looked at the 4 apartment properties that we had together, and I had a little moment of reflection. How did they do during the recession of 2009, 10, 11, and 12? And they held up better than any other asset type that I was involved with at that time, or really any time. And I kind of decided I want to go all in on multifamily for the duration of my career. And so Mike and I huddled, decided that we would stay focused on buying Class B, B minus, C plus in markets, and I'll get to that in a second, in markets that we found attractive. And we would focus on value add deals, meaning, which I think we all know what that means, but we'll go in, we'll cure the exterior deferred maintenance, and we'll buy deals where we think we can renovate the interiors with a kind of a standard scope of interior upgrades and raise rents in the process. So that's our business strategy. In terms of locations, our apartments range in location from, I think I'm in 13 different states, 31 different cities with all of the holdings. The apartments are in 12 different states. I don't remember how many cities offhand, but we are in Seattle, San Diego, Reno, Kansas City, St. Louis, Richmond, Virginia. So we try to pick markets that we do a lot of research, and we try to pick markets that we think have realistic economic growth potential. We want what a lot of people are looking for. We want to have, a decent sized market. We focus heavily on employment projections. We work with economists to help us devise these lists of cities that we target. And we're looking for strong employment sectors. We're looking for, university towns. If we can have, strong, transportation. We'd like it to be in a lower crime submarket. We would like it to have these properties to have strong schools. So it's Class B, B minus, C plus, value add, multifamily, and the ages of the properties we're looking at they're in the 70s and the 80s. We're dipping into some newer properties lately, one or two in the 90s and the 2000s, but that's not the norm. So that's our business strategy.
And you're going to keep that business strategy from what it sounds like for the next couple of years.
Yes. Yeah, okay. We'll stay. Once you kind of figure out the recipe, you just stay with it.
Tell me what's your business plan and your business strategy going to be for the next 3 years, Vinny?
Oh, totally. I'm very, very focused right now, Gene, with multifamily, definitely, which has been bread and butter. And that's where I've really grown myself into that field. I also feel with the silver tsunami going through this country, and you and I are both seniors, and we have 10,000 baby boomers turning 65 every night in USA and across the world actually also. So I have a very big demand, I find, for which I've researched over the last year and a half, 2 years, that silver, all the silver age, our 65, 75, 85 years of age seniors will need more housing. And I have tried to get into assisted senior living, luxury assisted senior living. That's the one. It's not residential, by the way, by any means at all, because I don't really buy any more homes, single family. I don't believe in them. And I have now I'm building 80 to 120 unit Class A++ from ground up assisted senior living. So that's
you're building from ground up
from scratch.
Where are you building those, Vinny?
Oh, actually, the partner I found thank goodness, I was sending messages out in the universe. I need to link up with a great partner, a builder who is in this kind of field, and I found one. So Mr. Imran and I have become partners now. And then now he's built 23 of them, by the way, 23. What, I'm talking about. The last one we just built was in Florida. He's from Michigan. So 22 of them in Michigan. And then one we just built in Florida, and we are building 3 more in Florida, and then Williamsburg, Virginia, and then Texas, and all over.